projects. We finished with all the Splunk, and the next thing is ATT&CK, which is very non-technical. You don't have to install anything. All you need is a web browser. Like I say, this class is a lot less technical than it used to be because the modern tools make it all pretty easy. So these are all based on the ATT&CK Matrix version 9, which I think may no longer be the latest version, but that's the one I wrote these projects for, and that's why they keep the old versions up. So the ATT&CK Matrix is really important. This is the list of the tools, techniques, and procedures used by attackers. So here you have tactics for enterprise. Here's the enterprise tactics. These are basic things you want to do. Reconnaissance to learn about the system, resource development to develop things like machines ready to go. Then you gain initial access. Somehow you gain some ability to access the system and some ability to execute code. Then you want to achieve persistence so your code will last through reboots, and escalate privileges, avoid defenses, steal credentials, discover information like network shares and other systems, move through the network with lateral movement, collect data, have command and control systems to control your remote controlled systems, exfiltrate data, and then perform whatever your goal is, your impact, which might be just stealing data or it might be wiping out systems or something. And of course, most attackers don't do all these things. These are just the general things they might do. And so those are the general tactics, and the techniques are here. And there are many, many techniques. Set UID and set GID are ways, bypass user account control. And so you usually work from the matrix. And here's the enterprise matrix that we're going to use. So here's the tactics, and here's the specific techniques. Active scanning, gather victim identity information, phishing for information, and so on. Here's initial access. One of these is phishing is the main one, but there's many other ways. So this is a list, and you should basically be familiar with all these things is the point. You should know these techniques. You don't have to memorize this thing, but you should be familiar with these techniques and understand what they do. And so this is just a way to practice with them. So based on this grid, I just have a little quiz to do to get a flag. So if you go here, this is listing tactics. So you've got the 14 tactics listed here, and it says which technique uses this technique. Pass the ticket. So you'd have to find that here, and there is a search engine to help you. So you just get practice using this grid. So that's pass the ticket. So if I search for pass, then it's working. And here's, well, let's give it more of an answer. Pass the ticket. Let's try search for pass ticket. See what that does? I don't know. There's pass the ticket. So there it is. And so if I want to know which tactic that's part of, it is part of defense evasion and lateral movement. So I don't know if I can answer this question. That's disturbing. I wanted lateral move. Sorry about that. That's an imperfection in my quiz. Anyway, that's what you have to do. And you have to get, I think, 5 of these in a row right to get the flag. And there's just a variety of these to practice. That one there, there should have been only one answer, so that's a defect in my system. There may be some defects, but I think it mostly works. So there's tactics, then there's techniques for certain tactics, and that's a couple of weeks. I made 2 of these do a week. So you just have to practice until you get most of them right. You have to get, I think, 5 in a row right to get the flag, like the binary games. And later on, I'll talk about the navigator, which is where you can compare 2 groups and see what they have in common. But there you just practice. And by the way, there's tactics, techniques, and there's also groups. And you'll find the groups up here. This is a list of all the groups that do things, all the APTs and all kinds of other groups like Cobalt Group and Copy Kittens and Deep Panda. The Chinese groups are called Panda. The Iranian groups are called Kitten. And there's other standard things. The Russian ones are all called bears, Cozy Bear and so on. But a lot of them are up here in the APT groups. And of course, APT-1 is the main Chinese threat group that started the whole thing, People's Liberation Army. And so you've got associated groups, and here's the techniques they're known to use. So this is how you perform attribution. You figure out who's attacking you by what they do and by looking at their malware. What's the website for MITRE practice? You go here, to where all the homework is. I'll put it in the chat. And there, you go down here. Here's the reference that you're going to look everything up in, this attack matrix, and here's the quizzes. So you open this, and you search there to find the answers here. That's all. So that's really all I wanted to show you. That's enough for the next several weeks of projects. And of course, you can skip ahead and do other things. And you see, we're going to do threat intelligence, and then we're going to do quite a lot of Velociraptor. We'll get Velociraptor working, and then we'll do some investigations of different attacks with Velociraptor. And then we'll do Zeke and so on. So if you, for example, are not interested in the attack matrix, you could skip ahead and do some of these technical things. You see a ton of it's extra. So, if there's any projects you don't like, just skip them and do other ones. There's plenty of extra credit projects. For example, you could do a lot more Splunk. Only 80 of this was required, like more than 200 points or extra credit here if you do all these Splunk things. So, as long as you do something, I'm happy. But the attack matrix is really important. It's become the standard. Defenders use it. Commercial products use it. You really need to understand all those techniques. None of them should surprise you. You should know the terms and have a general idea how they work. You're going to see them over and over. So you're not wasting your time doing attack. All right, let me stop this recording, and then I'll just see.